I guess we'll kick off. Furlough Friday 34 is upon us, and we have the Silver Fox, and of course our own Josh Hansen. We've been trying to get him on for a minute. The guy that picked up the mantle that we dropped and tried to throw into the toilet. You picked it up, dusted it off, dried it off, and made the squadron great
I
again.
think it was more like, Brady throwing the trophy, right? You guys did it with finesse. It was dangerous, but it ultimately got to where it needed to go.
Wait, are you comparing yourself to Cameron Brate?
Well, I mean,
But
I probably way more than him, but
what I want to know is, was it a charred wreck when you got it, and did you have to resurrect it?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good question.
I'm not sure it's completely resurrected yet.
Oh really? The squadron's still dead?
No, it's just still in I think it's still in a really good place. I think you guys left it in a really good place. Didn't you go down the hall to the 91st for a few upon your return from glory from that deployment?
That's a whole story in and of itself.
We got time.
Yeah, what else we doing? First, what's everybody drinking? What do we got? Coops, where you at? Is that coffee?
Yeah,
has to have some Baileys in there.
The old school.
There might be an additive in there.
Yeah, that's what we figured. Hanson, Joshy, what do you got?
I broke out a bottle of
it's a special occasion.
Nice.
little 18-year.
It is a
Glenn
special
Levitt.
occasion. And of course, Tyler has his McUltra.
Shitty light beer.
And I can't find mine because it's in a box probably somewhere. But I'll be right back. Please keep talking amongst yourselves. I will find something.
I feel a little left out. I don't have a hat.
Oh, is that
Everybody has a hat on.
Oh
Yeah, it's because
You've
you
got
have
one
great
of
hair.
there you go.
Wait, let me fix that.
How convenient.
Yeah, weird.
Hey, do you have one with horns on it?
No, that's the chair. The chair has horns.
Oh, I was talking about the guy in DC that was running around with horns on his head.
Yeah. You haven't been to my house, have you?
And when you say DC, you mean inside the Capitol building.
I actually have a recliner that I built or rebuilt that has horns on it, and it has state of Texas on it.
It's like a throne.
Well, they're kind of like handlebars. I'll just leave it at that.
So the next time you're on the podcast, can you be on the pod from that chair?
I could make that happen.
All right, with that hat.
With this hat, yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
And a pair of cowboy boots.
Yep.
Sure.
Are you gonna
We
have
could do that.
assless chaps on too? I got something, guys.
If they aren't assless, they're not real chaps. Just saying.
They're just pants.
They're just leather pants.
Which is worse. What man wears leather pants anymore?
As the great Paul Gates told me when I was buying all my motorcycle gear over in Turkey, I was in between bikes, and I had everything custom made, and he actually told me, he looks at me in a very serious tone. He says, you have to get another bike now, otherwise you're just going to be like the village people. So I didn't want to be another village people, so I went and got another bike.
Attaboy. Yeah, you know what? I almost bought one. So I took mine in repairs this last weekend. Some clown backed up into it, so the front fender needed changing, which gave me a reason to put a 21-inch on there, which is good. So, so I take it in there, and man, they're pushing hard for getting the 2021s out, throwing all kind of deals.
You got to move them.
I almost grabbed a shark, man. I got a Batwing. I almost grabbed a shark just for grins. But I think I'm gonna stick with what I got. You going to bike week? You gonna travel? What are you gonna do?
I was thinking about it. Are they actually going to open it up?
Yeah, apparently it's not closing. If nothing else, I think the consensus is if they do try to close it, kind of like what they did last year, they're going to go to Ormond. Ormond's not closing, so the whole crew the whole festivities moved up north,
Okay.
just up north. Those of you that don't
So-
know the geography, it's just one city up north from Daytona Beach. So
And you know the dates of it?
I do. That's around there somewhere. I'm actually going to my local Harley dealership, and they're having some festivities and then a ride out. I might do
Okay.
that. I got a buddy that just finished out. He got this custom deal, man. This thing is a thing of beauty.
I have a condo or a condo hookup over in Orange, so I may cruise over for a couple days.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Let's go for a ride, brother.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Once mine gets out of the shop. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. When are you two numbnuts from Michigan buying bikes?
I used to have a bike. Well,
What happened to it?
Really?
I shouldn't say that. My dad had a bike and my best friend had a bike
Yeah.
and I had a Camaro. So my buddy and I would alternate weekends. He would take the Camaro, I'd take the bike and ride with my dad. Or I would take my dad's bike and ride with him. So that was a long time ago. I haven't ridden in 10 years probably, maybe
You know,
longer now.
go grab Diaz's bike. He doesn't use it.
Yeah.
Hey, he rode it into UTA weekend, all weekend this last weekend.
Oh yeah, his wife
He almost,
let him?
he almost
That's
wrecked. Yeah.
He almost wrecked.
No, he almost ran me over. So we have
Oh,
two different buildings, and there's a kind of a thoroughfare that he uses as his own personal parking spot, as he should.
of course.
And I was walking out of the door as he came steaming through, and of course he did the rev up right as he passed me. It scared the living shit out of me. Got my heart racing a little bit. So, but typical Diaz. So
Did it on
No,
purpose.
When I lived over in Casabella, I would ride mine in, and it was always just such a pain in the butt getting on base with it.
Yeah, it
yeah,
still
yeah.
is. Nothing's changed. You got to give
Yeah.
a stool sample or something. I don't know. It's just weird. They turn your head and cough to get on base. All right, never mind. I'll just.
Are they doing the anal COVID test there yet?
Yeah, you can actually ask for both, so you can get
as long as
both
Yeah,
ways.
both.
And if you what is going on here?
Oh.
I'm getting
Oh,
calls.
and
And,
in honor of
yeah,
our
meet in the
meeting,
middle.
I got the old official coffee mug.
nice.
I like
Look at
it.
I don't think I ever got one of those. I'm hurt.
that. I'm sporting the friend of Gary cup.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very
Very
cool.
nice.
And I usually have my cup here that has the new logo on it, and I can't find it. It's in a box.
I should have worn my friend of Gary's shirt, and I could have fit right in with you.
I got the hat.
That is a pretty handsome shirt you got on there, though, with the
That is a cool shirt.
This one?
Logo.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to find out, is that copywritten or what?
You know, I don't.
That's
It's
your
my
design,
got
right, Tom?
copywritten. That's Tom's design, isn't it?
Is
Well, yeah, yes, it is kind of, and I got the whole backstory on that for you.
Oh yeah, is it a good one?
Well, I don't know if it's any good or not, but
Well, who owns the trademark? We need to know if it's copywritten, trademarked, or whatever.
I do.
Well,
So
let's.
when we move,
So,
okay, you want the whole history?
Yep.
yeah,
All
let's do it.
So you guys know the original patch, right?
Jesus, yes, the flying gens.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, we know
So
that
that-
patch.
So that was the original DC3 patch from way
Correct.
back in the day when they were, I'm guessing they're flying rubber dog shit all around the Pacific. And at one time we actually had pictures in the squadron of some of the DC3s in World War II flying stuff around the Pacific
Yeah.
from our squadron. And then this squadron patch was actually
That was the
developed.
unofficial, though, right?
Right. This was the first official unofficial.
Yeah.
And this one was actually designed, I'm told, by the C-130 guys, because the squadron went from some DC-3s to C-130s.
Yeah.
So it was designed by them. So that's the one that everybody was wearing when I got to the 63rd in 2001. So summer of 01's when I got there. And at that time we had a morale patch made. So there was a lot of us using this morale patch right here.
Yeah. Oh
Which
man, I
is-
lost that one too. Are there any more of those?
I have mine. And
So no.
you can see a little more. I found a patch. We had a bunch of stickers made too. So a little
Yeah,
more
dude,
detail.
that's badass. Motor City
Yeah.
Madman. That was cool.
So from now, what I was told was one of our maintenance guys designed this.
I heard that too.
Is what I heard as a nose art,
Yeah.
and then we made a patch out of it, and that was our morale patch. Well, there was a lot of us. What do they call us? I guess we were the unclean heathens.
Imagine that.
And we would wear all these. The holdover C-130 guys, who were the company men, they would only wear this one, right? So there was a large contingent of us who wore the Madman patch all the time. And then we had a certain OG came down to Selfridge,
Chrome Dome.
the unmentionable one, and he outlawed the Motor City Madman patch because there was a little dissension in the ranks. So we went back to the unofficial official patch for a while. When we moved down to MacDill in 08,
You got it.
we had a new squadron commander come in, and Pablo asked me to help him design a new squadron patch.
God bless Pablo.
Yeah. So when he came in, him and I sat down and we brainstormed. And at the time, in the middle of one of my, let's just say, less wise dating decisions, I was actually dating somebody who owned a t-shirt embroidery shop. And I'll leave that one there. Anyway, the good thing about that that came out of that was I had a lot of t-shirts and polos made, and our goal was to come up with a squadron patch and a squadron logo, because we were traveling all around the world, seeing like the Maniacs emblem everywhere, and we wanted a logo. So our goal was to develop a patch that we could eventually turn into a logo. So when you saw the logo, you knew it was a Pirates from Tampa.
Recognizable.
So we came up with actually two patches, and Pablo had some criteria for it. He wanted it to represent the Buccaneers, and he wanted to have the state of Florida on it, and he wanted to have a tanker on it. So we came up with this patch here, which was eventually adopted as our official squadron patch. And
I got that one.
That made all the criteria. We had some of them made that the color wasn't quite right. It turned out to be like a pink color.
They were pink. That's right.
So we started handing them out to all of the ladies and alternative lifestyle type people, and they were a big hit in that arena. But I came up with another one that I designed that I liked better, which became this patch.
There it is.
Right.
And that's the
one.
one.
I just thought that looked a little tougher, a little meaner. It still had the tanker on it. I found this logo online, and I got Christine's shop to put a patch together. So I brought.
Didn't you change the sword? And it was two swords, but you changed one sword to a bone or something like that.
No, in fact, I thought about changing it to the two swords like the Buccaneers have, but I didn't want it to be exactly too much like the Buccaneers. So when I found this logo online, it didn't have the scarf on it. It was just a skull, the bone, and the sword. So I had to modify it a little bit, and I modified the colors, put on the patch. So it came down to these two patches.
I remember.
and Pablo wanted this patch, and since he was the squadron commander, that's the patch we got. And this became an outlawed patch, an outlawed
That's right.
morale patch. And because I had inside sources and extra beer money one month, I end up buying 100 of these patches for myself because the squadron leadership would not fund buying them. So I bought these and I handed them out to people out of my personal stash. So that's where they came from. Now, I just recently talked to the place that we ordered these from, and they said they could order more if anyone ever wants them. They have the digitized files. And I actually had this logo put on some t-shirts, and then I had some other logos made as well. I had them put on
But that
t-shirts.
and the ARG is an acronym, right?
Yeah, so on this one, and if any of you guys still have the sleeve patches, the little small ones,
Yeah.
we
yeah.
came up with ARG, and then we wrote it out on the bottom, which is air refueling reserve guys. So we came up with an acronym
Just to
that
make it
spelled out-
simple.
that spelled out ARG. And at one time I had the believe it or not, the official ARG license plate on my car.
Oh my
Because
God.
I beat everybody to the punch.
Yeah.
But that was when my car was still registered in Michigan. And I moved down to Florida and I went to get that license plate. And some rat bastard had taken the ARRG.
Oh, you know it.
So,
You know it's gonna be gone.
I did the next natural thing. I just put an extra R on the end of it for retired. So my license plate now is ARRGR.
So that patch saga just continued after you departed the squadron,
Yeah.
and it went through a couple of iterations. So yeah, when you left, the official patch, the unofficial official patch being the Tampa Bay Bucks, there's only a few of us left that have that. So there was still a handful of individuals in the squadron that would only wear the Motor City, not the Motor City patch, but the one they carried down from Selfridge.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had it in your hand. Which
Oh,
one
the
is that?
orange.
With the checkerboard.
The yellow one.
Yep,
with
the
flag.
checkerboard. Yep. So they were calling that one the official, which was never actually the official patch. The official patch is the Flying Jenny's patch.
Right.
So there was some heartache.
Oh.
A couple individuals that were pressing. You know, we're not going to wear the Bucks patch. We're going to wear this patch, and it created enough of a rift to where eventually it was found out that no, the only actual on paper patch for the squadron was the Flying Jenny's, you know, the crazy looking donkey patch, which then became what we were told and forced to wear, other than we kept the ARG patch, your design, as the Friday patch.
Right.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, everybody was against it, other than, you know, the leadership saying, hey, that's what you're wearing because that's what's official. So it was like that.
Weird.
It was like that until probably 2016, 2017, and we had a leadership change. It was, I want to say, it
When
was
little
either,
Frankie left, wasn't it?
it was when Amadeo got fired. I had ordered 500 of the ARG patches and said,
In straight defiance.
through this, while we have this leadership change, Remo was our stand-in wing commander, and he didn't give a shit.
Mhm.
We are
And
going to adopt
That's the
this
perfect time to make
as
a change.
absolutely, and we were in between OGs as well. So yeah, so I handed them out to everybody and said, this is it. This is now it's what we're wearing, official or not. We're going to wear this. It's what you know. It's been around and people recognize the patch. It's the perfect patch for the squadron. So for the last, and we are still wearing it, and that is the everyday patch in the squadron right now.
Nice.
So since 16, 17 to now, it's been about 3 to 4 years. We have that patch on, big patch on the front of the building.
Right.
You know,
I see
one of
that.
those foam patches. So up until the wing decided to go out and get a new wing historian,
Oh,
who then came in and said, "Wait, where did this patch come from? This isn't your official patch. Your official patch is the donkey patch." And so that
I will
rekindled.
donkey punch you. How about that?
Dude.
We've come full circle.
So there is a new patch in works,
Okay.
almost finalized, that the wing historian has worked with the squadron in doing all the stupid, silly rules that it has to have Air Force yellow and blue, and it can't have a silhouette of an airplane. And there's a whole bunch of these stupid rules to get a patch approved. You know, you can't offend anybody because
Oh my God.
you know, it's so frustrating.
I'm
So,
offended they're changing patches. What about that?
I know it's
You
ridiculous.
can't
So
offend anybody. What does that
I
even
know.
mean? So what if it's yellow and I don't like yellow? It reminds
I
me
know.
of when I got peed on as a kid or something. I'm
The
offended.
funny thing is the checkerboard patch. We used to call that the piss patch because it had a piss yellow background.
Yeah, well, welcome back because it's about to go down.
And
About that
you know,
same way.
I could have even been okay with it if it was like a maize and gold or something like that. But it's just like a putrid orange yellow color. It's kind of nasty.
Yeah, it does look like.
And
you.
what's the unicorn?
It's
it's
well,
a Pegasus, isn't it?
it's supposed to be a
Pegasus.
Pegasus, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
The tail up or the tail down?
well,
That was.
it looks like it has a fifth leg or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's
It
just
looks like
kind
it's
of
on fire and it's shitting out a lightning bolt. I don't know what's
Yeah,
happening to it.
something
but-
like that. Anyway, so the good news about the patches is I called the supplier that I got them from, and I asked them. I go, do you own the copyright to this? Do you have the design? What are the rules for it? And she told me, no, that you designed that. That copyright's yours. So
Oh, there you go.
there you go.
I've infringed on your copyrights more than once.
And I
Don't tell
approve.
anybody.
I
Yeah,
approve,
we probably have like 300-400 of those patches sitting in the squadron. So
that's awesome.
they're just and like I said, the saga is not over yet. It's now changing to a new patch, and eventually.
What does it look like?
I wish I had it. I'll look and see if I have it on my phone. Maybe I do, but
Well,
it's a pirate ship. They tried to fit some cool things in it. So it's a pirate ship, and there's clouds in the sky and wake in the water from the ship itself. And if you turn the patch upside down, it's the outline of an old pirate. You kind of got to look for it, but it's there. And the historian doesn't know about that. So hopefully he's not watching this podcast. Because you can't have any cartoon figures in an official patch.
Yeah.
Right. Other than historic patches like the freaking donkey patch, right?
I was gonna say, isn't that a cartoon? Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who's designing the new patch?
It was a combination, a couple guys in the squadron. JD Davis, Tyler knows, did a lot of work on it.
These are new guys, huh?
Yeah, new guys. Yep.
Yeah,
And I think Jeff Grove tweaked some stuff. He's pretty good with Photoshop and shit, and
So
Yeah,
and here's another backstory. So when this patch was outlawed, about the same time it got outlawed, I went to work in wing safety. So I was out of the squadron for a while, assigned to the wing. So I had this one made, which had the wing on the bottom and the squadron on the top. And as far as I know, this is the only one, because I only ordered a couple of these. So these bootleg patches and this morale patch here, when it got outlawed and this became the official patch, then what our ROE is anytime you were using the TDY call sign and you were off station, you were free to change your patches and
nice.
and use the morale patch.
Yeah, there's something about a patch too.
Unless you're flying a flag officer or general, then you had to kind of behave yourself. But.
Yeah. Well, there's something about rallying behind that I guess some of these guys don't understand and don't get.
Yeah.
It's got to be something you got have a little bit of pride behind. I don't understand, why is a historian getting involved to where they have the ability to say yes and no, or yay and nay. They
Yeah.
give your inputs. Cool. Let's try to adhere to a little bit of a history and legacy, but they shouldn't be the ones saying yes or no about a
Yeah.
squadron.
So who's caving to the historian? That's the real question, Josh.
Yeah. You know how I would handle that situation? This is just me talking. Is I would talk to that historian about digging into the history of the unit and developing a historical past with pictures and photos and awards, and get them to concentrate on something over here.
Yeah,
Kept
there
on
you
wearing this patch
go.
over
Yeah.
here.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know
Give them
how
something else to do.
how it came about, but um, it's interesting to see. Like, I caught wind of it like 6 months down the road from when it started happening, which was about
How was
two
that
or
even
3
possible?
months ago. I mean, I just wasn't in the right place at the right time to listen in on the conversation, and all of a sudden I hear there's a, not only is the historian uh, doing all this research on her patch, but there's a new patch that's already designed. Like, it happened
Wow.
without me knowing, which doesn't, a lot of stuff doesn't happen in the squadron without me knowing. And I'm like, man. So, and I mean,
My
now the
question is,
squadron,
how does that get past the squadron commander?
I don't think
middle-
it did.
didn't-
Is
didn't-
middle management, is Mike McAllister, middle management, Mike McAllister, involved in that? And
Mike?
all gung ho? What's his
Mike?
name? Is it
What's
Mike?
his
I mean,
name?
he's definitely there. I don't know. I'm what I'm pretty positive is it came from above him that, hey, you have to change your patch. So make it happen, and he's trying to make it happen the best. So I'll get a picture of the patch and text it over to you guys, and
Yeah, we
you
gotta
guys
put
check
that
it
in
out.
here. It'll be our backdrop for the podcast from now on.
Actually, Jeff
Yeah,
probably
Paul.
has a digital copy.
I expect all alumni will get an honorary patch in the mail.
We
along with my
should.
royalty check.
Only if you come to the pirate party, which
Ah.
isn't a problem for Silver Fox over there, because he comes to all of them, which
Well, I was
is
gonna
amazing.
say, are we still having them?
Now, I can't tell you the last time I seen BA at a pirate party.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, where were you at the Super Bowl party?
I tend to not have as much fun as I should. I should be having more fun at these events, and I got to tell you, I don't. I don't know why.
The Super Bowl party was a little bit low key, but it was still good.
I tell you what, I'll go to this year. What are we having one this year? You didn't have one last year, did you?
So I think we're pirate party. We're shooting for the fall in the October-November timeframe.
Okay, I'll make a vow during Furlough Friday 34 that I will be at the next pirate party.
Give us
There it is.
Full
And I don't think anybody
regalia.
knows. I don't think anybody knows we're having one. So I just announced, hey, we're having a party and a pirate party in October, November of this
You
year.
heard it here
So
first. You heard it here
there it
first.
is.
give us dates far enough in advance so we can bid around it.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
before the 10th of the previous month. It seems like everybody's back to work.
Speaking of which, are you back to work? Aren't you flying for some major airline who will go nameless? But aren't you?
I've flown a little bit for a major airline, and
Okay.
spent a lot of time on mill leave.
But you're through probation and all that, and did you get furloughed?
I would have if our company didn't come to an agreement to
with the
save all
union?
the furloughees. So
Brandon,
Well,
Josh is an AGR. You know that, right?
You're welcome. No, what? What do you mean AGR?
I hope you
There
got
are
into
no
UNA
AGRs.
status before you
Not
were
AGR.
started.
Well, yeah, AGR.
yeah, AGR. We converted half of our art positions to AGRs.
Are you shitting me?
I am
Oh, you
not.
got to be kidding. For those that don't know what an AGR, it is basically active duty. How the hell?
I can tell you what I am doing right now has no resemblance of active duty.
No, I know that because you're still in the reserves. Wow.
My question is, were you able to go on a UNA status before you went on orders? That's what I want.
I'll just say that I'm getting paid by the company.
Congratulations. You make me so proud.
Yeah.
It was
enough said.
It's all about increasing your dollar per calorie ratio.
Yes.
And
Per
yes, I
calorie
said
ratio,
that.
I love it.
I wish I had dollars for my calories.
Yeah, well, you would be rich. You would be hella rich. Your
Hot
calorie
dog.
wait, is it calorie intake or calorie expulsion?
Intake for sure.
No, definitely. Hot dogs. Got it.
Now, the,
Well,
the
good for
formula is-
you.
The formula is to maximize the dollars per calorie expended. That's the key. And if you don't have an alert line, it's a little more challenging to do.
How is that alert line coming down there, McDill, that was promised?
Dude, they're still it's like tomorrow. It's gonna happen. We're counting on it.
Really? Are you
Yeah.
12 years later?
Dude, it's and I kid you not. So it's so funny, going from
I
I
love
got
it.
pilot wise got hired into this unit, right? And I've been there a long time now. So now being one of the more senior guys in the unit and listening to the young guys, yeah. So if we ever get that alert line, I'm just like,
We used to have an alert line, right?
Yeah.
You know the story of how we lost it?
no, I do not know that.
So
I just knew it went away.
when I got to Selfridge, we had an alert line, and we had a chief boom at the time who did not like sitting alert, and there were a couple other booms, mostly arts, but they didn't like doing alert because the TR booms wouldn't participate in alert as much, so all the arts end up doing it all the time. This is on the boom side. On the pilot side, we loved it,
Of course.
because you would actually increase your dollar per calorie ratio while you're sitting alert.
Especially during those years of downturn in the airlines.
And first couple of years when your pay is not that good, it's a great income supplement. Well, we end up closing our runway because they were redoing the runway at Selfridge, and we went down to Grissom. And we were trucking down to Grissom trying to run our alert line out of Grissom, and we did that for a while. And we had a certain OG that came in to put a clamp down on any fun we had, and certain booms in the boom leadership had his ear, and they basically told him they couldn't handle the alert line with the manning that they had.
Oh, wow.
And because of that, again, some of the TR booms that we had at the time were like min participators.
So Chrome Dome is the reason why you guys lost your alert line?
Yep. The booms basically became the weak link. And then, of course, then after we lost it, they gave it to somebody else.
Of course.
And it's impossible to get it back.
No, you can't get it back. No.
And we made a push once we got to MacDill to try to get one back because we're in a perfect location for an alert line.
Absolutely.
You could cover the whole southeastern US.
Absolutely.
And whoever got our alert line, I'm not even sure who got it, but whoever got it wasn't going to give it up.
Grissom.
Yeah. Well, Grissom, I think Grissom had 2 alert lines at the time.
Sure.
So they already had 2. I think I don't know, maybe ours went to Milwaukee or somebody. I'm not really sure.
Oh, Adam Yuhan is flying it?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's how we lost the alert line. And then, of course, once you lose it, it's almost impossible to get it back.
No.
Because somebody's got to give it up.
That's unfortunate, man.
Once you get the free cheese, you don't want to give up the free cheese.
It's amazing how much leadership can have such a negative impact on a squadron's morale, and in this case, squadron pay.
Well, in their lives. Think about that for a second. Like bad leadership, and this is the thing about the military, and I mean just anybody, any corporate America too. And I think most people that are listening know that and have felt the glove, the tightness of bad leadership. And that is like a cancer, man. That's it. That's the squadron patch.
That's the one that's being tweaked to probably get to be the squadron patch.
What
Turn
Turn
it
it up-
upside down.
Turn it upside down.
I like the ship, but I have a couple of questions.
It keeps moving. Lock your
Just-
yeah.
Screenshot it and then
send it to us or something.
What
send it
does the
over.
Latin on the top mean?
It does mean something, and I forget what. It's something halfway okay.
Halfway
Sex it up.
decent.
Halfway decent.
Put your boom here.
Let's see, where'd you guys go? There it is.
Well, while he's looking for that, more about the leadership sucks. It can be a cancer, man. It just kills morale. Guys are losing pay, so it's affecting their livelihoods, and all because of somebody not wanting to really lead a squadron or a group or a wing. And we've seen it. Unfortunately, in that unit, we've seen it about 3 or 4 times in a very short period of time. Even before I think Tyler was there and Josh with Chrome Dome and what was his name again? What was his
The
name?
unmentionable one. His
We can't
previous
say his
squadron,
name, dude. We won't do it.
his previous squadron called him the unmentionable one.
Yeah. He's probably the worst. He was the worst OG I've ever seen in my life. And then we got Amadeo as a wing commander. And then I'm like,
Rumped.
how can you be worse than the guy we had at Selfridge? How can you be a worse leader than that? And he was able to do it. And it was incredible. And he's shorter. So it's just
It's actually kind of impressive.
it is impressive. Good, very
Well,
good word.
You know, I think it's this is just my opinion, and you know, anybody out there can feel free to correct me if I state things wrong or if I have the wrong point of view, because I was known to be a little bit of a rebel, but
Ooh,
my
fire.
perception was that if somebody was a really good leader,
I see
I
it.
guess that's kind of like, yeah, I like
That's
it.
pretty cool.
So what's it supposed to represent when it's right side up? Just
Clouds
islands or what?
There's a cloud with the sun poking out. Anyway, your story was better. Keep going.
I like Tom's copyrighted image better, but anyways,
Absolutely.
continue, Tom.
Anyway, so what I noticed in the time that I was in was that if somebody became a good leader and people wanted to follow him and he was successful, the other leaders above and around him would do everything they could to sabotage him because they felt threatened by that. That was their competition. And then the other thing I noticed is the guys that were good leaders, the guys that had their act together, after a while you get tired of beating your head against the wall, and most of those guys, they'd get out and go do something else, or they'd retire, or they'd move on. And the people that were left were the dirtbags that couldn't make it on the outside. They were the people that didn't have any place else to go. So they would float to the top. And, you know, I could throw out names, but you already know who the names are.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed since you got out. It's the same same enterprise. It's happening as we sit there and watch it. So,
you know, and it's the same thing you see in politics in our country. You know, people knifing each other in the back, trying to step over each other to climb to the top.
Oh, here we go with your politics. So listen up, boys and girls. You too, Silver Fox. It stands for or means if the wind will not serve, take to the oars. That's what the Latin translation is. If
Interesting.
the wind will not serve, take to the oars. I get it.
it's not horrible.
You know,
No,
Uh,
not horrible.
you know what the Texas redneck translation is?
it's
Oh,
easier
Jesus.
though.
So it's
Arg.
easier. Arg.
Arg.
The Texas redneck translation of that is blow me. What?
I fucking love Texas.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a fact.
I'll tell you
That
what,
is a fact.
Florida has about a week, maybe two, to get their act together. If they don't, I'm moving back to Texas. Who's with me?
Wait, what's going on in Florida? Is Florida something happening in Florida I don't know about?
Well, there's still counties in Florida that are that have mask mandates and aren't opening stuff up. So
Yeah.
Texas
Orange
opened
County.
everything.
Oh yeah, they did. Wide open. They're trying to get rid of the Californians, though. That's what it is. They're
You,
trying-
you tracking?
Texas wants to
tracking that
secede
they,
from the union and start their own republic again. You kidding me?
What was that,
Gotta
Josh?
love Texas. Are you tracking that they've lifted their mask mandate?
Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah.
cough and hack all over the California folk that came out there and get rid of them, and the New Yorkers for sure. You know, New Yorkers. Oh, so here's the thing. So the New Yorkers came to Florida.
Mhm.
All the
They're
California
still
folk,
coming.
they're still coming, and
The,
they're driving
the real
prices
estate
up.
market is showing.
It's insane. Yeah, I'm
You know
sure
what?
you're doing very well, Josh, and of
Yep.
course now
It's not
Tyler's
bad.
going to do well.
Come on down, help us out, but don't you dare New York or Florida.
First of all, Florida's been the sixth borough for quite some time now. It has been the sixth borough for at least maybe 5 decades. So
Just
they're here.
don't bring your ideas, your New York ideas down here.
Here's the thing. I don't think the New Yorker idea, because I think it's the Northwest. It's a lot of it's blue collar stuff. They can afford more down here. The California folk is very alien to the East Coast like mentality.
Yeah.
At least if you got New Yorkers coming down, it's still that kind of an East Coast, and it is different. Not better, not worse, whatever. I'm not saying that shit. I'm just saying it's different. So there's going to be some friction, if you will. I don't like the patch, but good luck. You know what? Here's the thing. All the alumni are going to come to the Pirate Party and have a patch burning ceremony. And it's going to be this patch. I assure you.
I will. Yes.
If you go with a black background instead of gray, you might be able to sell it to me.
Yeah, it looks pretty. Yeah, in my eyes, it looks pretty daint the way it is. So
At least go with dark gray.
yeah,
Make it look
I
a
would
little
agree.
tougher.
It needs some work.
It needs some alumni intervention. Tom should
really
be in the
does.
loop on this.
It really does.
Hey,
Tom should. You should come be our historian.
Yes.
Is that a civilian position?
If this
It is.
airline thing doesn't work out for me, I have an idea for a redesign. What do you guys think?
That is a really good rendering there.
That's my personal idea. We can work from there.
Dude, how'd you come up with that patch? Can you give us the history on that one? Man.
That's great. I got an
I
idea
burned
for
too many brain
redesign.
cells going over it the first time.
That's great. So, Silver Fox, how is your career going? Obviously, you're well within the seniority ranks to where you wouldn't get furloughed, but how is it affecting you all? Did you take like some leave, some time to ride your bike, grow your face hair?
Yes and no. Let me see. So I was on the 350 a year ago.
Nice.
And I was doing usually 2 to 3 trips a month, depending on the length of trips. Mostly Asia, some Europe. So about April started slowing down. Over the summer, it got really scarce.
Yeah.
And I know guys on the wide bodies that didn't fly for 6 or 8 months.
Yeah. Hey, BA, how long has it been?
I'm scared to say because it's not right.
And
it's
that,
not okay.
There's certainly
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. I considered that.
I can't say anything.
But what I did is I just went in and picked up trips and I bid what I could. I did a lot of military charters and cargo runs over the summer. Then in August we had a big displacement. Actually, it was earlier than that. I think it was June we had a displacement, if I remember right. But it didn't it didn't go into effect until like August or September for most of us. So after they had the displacement, then they rolled out the early retirements, but they didn't really rescind any of the displacements. They just let you bid back if you wanted to.
Ah, good. That's good.
So I got bumped out of Detroit and off the 350 onto the 330. So I got bumped to Minneapolis on the 330. And so I started that in November, and I decided not to go back to the 350 because in the middle of all that, we parked all of our 777s and we started parking 75s and 76s.
Oh man.
So of course, all the 777 guys came to the 350.
Exactly.
And even though we opened up more bases for the 350, if I was going to go back to 350, I would have been, like the bottom 10%. And I didn't want to do that.
Wow. Yeah.
So
quality
I
of
went
life.
to
starts
330
creeping.
training in November.
Yeah.
And I've been doing 2 or 3 trips a month since then, mostly Europe. The
Okay.
good news is since Minneapolis wasn't it's not one of the approved international arrival bases. So initially everything was a deadhead to and from Minneapolis. So I could
Nice.
deviate and I could get a paid commute back and forth to work.
Nice.
So I spent the winter doing that, which worked out really
Yeah.
well. So I would take a 7-day trip, turn it into a 5-day trip, by deviating from the deadhead.
So when you say deviate from a deadhead, does that mean you out of Tampa?
Yeah. So
You don't have to
for
go. You bypass Minneapolis. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So for instance, my trip sequence that I would bid would be hypothetically, like I remember one specific one I did in January. There's a couple of them. So deadhead from Minneapolis to Atlanta, Atlanta to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Mumbai, back to Frankfurt, back to Atlanta, then a deadhead on the back. So that's a 7-day trip. Well, what I would do is I'd deviate and I'd fly up the morning of my trip from here to Atlanta, start my trip. In my trip in Atlanta, on that last deadhead leg, I would deadhead back to Tampa. So basically, I'm getting paid to do my commute, and I have positive space.
And
Awesome.
you turn a 7-day trip into a 5-day trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Because instead of laying over in Atlanta on the first day and the last day, I just add that extra flight back and forth to Tampa.
Just beat feet. Yeah.
Now-
and it's paid for. That's good.
Yeah. And the last couple of months, it's been working great. Apparently somebody that does the lines, the scheduling lines in the company figured out that they were throwing a good deal at us. So they had to stop that. So for March, all of my trips start and end in Minneapolis. And what they did is they took the 330 and they moved it to mostly domestic flying. So I'm still flying out of Minneapolis, but it's all domestic stuff.
You really think that's what it is? So they looked at him like, nah, we can't have that. We can't have these
My
guys
guess,
having a good deal.
my guess is they're probably, they got somebody looking at deadheads and they're looking at the international flying we're doing, and they're just having other airplanes do it. They're bringing more
efficiencies
airplanes
and-
online, so they're farming that out to other bases. Now, will it return to what it was? I don't know. If it continues to be all domestic stuff, I might try to bid out of Minneapolis just because the commute is a challenge because it's a longer flight up there and back. Or I could commute to New York or Detroit much easier.
I'm to Detroit. I'll be there here in a couple of years. You can bid over the left seat. We can fly together.
All right, deal. Right now on the 330, I'm less than 50% on seniority on the right seat, which I haven't been below 50% seniority on anything since I started 20 years ago. So it's kind of nice at least having some control over my schedule for a change.
I was talking to one of our friends. short little ginger fella that we all know. He heard a rumor from a Frontier pilot that there's been like 38 American Airlines pilots that have gone to Frontier in the past several months. Does that make sense to anybody for any reason?
Well, I did hear that the American had furloughed guys. So I could see if a guy got furloughed going over there, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
suppose.
so they did furlough, but then with the CARES Act passing, all the furloughees got called back and back paid for the time that they were furloughed. But now for young guys at American that know that they're probably going to get furloughed come March 31st if another CARES Act package does not pass, which it actually sounds like it's going to extend it out to September 30th with this, $1.9 trillion economic stimulus package. But anyway, they don't know that they have a job past March 31st right now.
Yeah.
So maybe they're preemptively doing that. I don't know.
It could be.
It's pretty ballsy, but
Yeah.
I'm hearing rumors that a lot of airlines are about to start hiring again.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we just announced we're putting everybody back, we're recalling all the UNAs. The only downside to calling back the UNAs, if you're in a military status, is you're going to lose that 30 hours a month probably. But but it sounds like they're gonna waive the mill leave ceiling for a while, so that you can stay out more than 5 years, which is a good.
Yeah, actually my whole AGR tour that I'm on right now is USERA exempt. It does not count towards my 5 years of USERA.
See, and that's huge.
It shouldn't.
You know,
And that's because it's AGR tour, right?
No, it's because that was what one of our agreements with our union entailed.
Oh, good.
So
very good.
They were encouraging at the beginning of this pandemic, they were encouraging people to go on mill leave because they knew they were going to eventually have to dump pilots.
Good
So
for
they were taking incentive or giving people incentives to go do something else. Pilot leaves, USERA exemptions if you got mills to go to.
Insane right now. So how many active duty hours active duty years do you have?
Not enough. I mean, I have.
You're a reserve baby, right?
I am guard for the first 8-9 years with Tyler over there. We grew up together, and then came over to the unit here down when they moved down to Florida. And so I did a lot of deployments, a lot of active duty time. I think total after this AGR tour, I have 12 or 13. I'm sorry, 13 or 14. I'd have to do another 5 or 6 is what I was calculating, and that's not going to happen. No chance.
Well, he says that now, but I also remember him saying when he left the art job that he'd never come back full time.
Never, exactly.
And here he is.
There was
AGI,
no there was no even inkling that our jobs were going to flip over to AGR at that point, and then once it did, so I took the AGR gig well before the pandemic was even on the radar. So I did it because I was very young with my company. And I am getting the active duty bonus associated with what an active duty guy would get.
Oh,
so
wow. That's great.
So it was more money to be at home, one job with, a new kid at home. Yeah. So
is it yours?
For a lot of, she tells me it is,
okay.
And then another one happened. I don't know how that happened. And she says they're both mine.
Stop it.
So that we're done. It stopped.
Florida says it's yours.
Is one Cuban resemblance?
Does it look like me? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
I would caution you about one thing, but you keep
having another kid. Yeah, no, you don't have to. It's done.
Enough of that. You keep doing man days, and after a while, you're sitting there one day and you start looking at your point statement, and you go, "Holy cow! I got enough points to retire."
Yeah.
And it just sneaks up on you.
It sneaks up, and then you just do it. You pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Good for you. I love seeing guys win. Here's the thing about the military, and don't get me wrong, it was a great place to start. I don't regret it, obviously. but they will use you. You know, and especially as a war fighter if you've deployed over the last, since, I mean, hell, I got in '99. And you deploy, you do this, you do that. My whole career was basically in this contingent of Iraq and Afghanistan and Horn of Africa and all this stuff. They use you. And at the end of it, you're just sent out to pasture. So when I hear a dude that wins,
I'm right here.
I know. Yeah. And you're grazing like a motherfucker. I got to tell you.
Yeah, they
Send
will
you out to pasture.
use you, and
You're like-
spit you out.
You're like one of those cows they keep in Wagyu, Japan. They get massages, and you're a well-kept cow, well-kept grazer.
Wagyu? Is he a Wagyu?
Well, I had my fair share of abuse over the years, but in the end, I felt like I got one little last poke in their eye. And
Yeah, what do they call it? They call it sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
yeah,
That's what I got.
That's what.
They couldn't get rid of me. I'm like, oh, the minute I got that letter, I remembered Coops. I remembered the Silver Fox when he got his letter. And you know what, dude, when I got it, I almost called you, but I didn't want to, like, man.
you should
Real
have.
old shit. I should have.
You should
I
have.
got my letter because I wasn't expecting it. I figured, they're just going to boot me after like 17, 18 years. That'll be that. You know what? That's probably what I deserve anyway. But they did. And I get this letter. I'm going, wait. So let me get this straight. You can't fire me? Is that what you're saying? You just gave probably one of the worst reservists ever to be don the flight suit. The carte blanche.
Now, have you retired yet, or are you still in?
No, I retired. Yeah, I got that letter too. I got it. It's got a coffee stain around it. I'll send you that.
Whose signature is on it?
It's some a clerk. Oh, you mean whether it's Trump or is that what you mean? No,
Yeah.
so it's not the retirement. So this one is just the letter saying, hey, you're in the NERP or whatever the acronym is. And you got to file within 90 days, that whole thing, which I probably didn't do. I don't know. That's probably 180 days ago.
With all those other travel vouchers.
Exactly. Incidentally, do I still have travel vouchers? I think I had, when I left the squadron, I had $3,000 worth of travel vouchers. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen out there. I don't recommend doing this, but here is my rebuke. It was such a pain in the ass to get travel vouchers done. I would submit them. I had one come back 5 times. I'm like, look, man, I don't know what you want, but I'm not going to fight this hard for $300. Like the money spent, like the $300 that was like, I can't do it. So I probably had about $3,000 worth of of vouchers. And I said, forget it. I can't do it. And I even offered one of the young ladies that does our clerk work. I said, look, if you will do it, because she kept calling me. I was like, here's the thing. If you do it, I'll give you 50%. Hand to God. I'll give you 50% of it. And here's the thing. Take all of it and just don't even tell me that it happened.
Yeah. In your world, nothing's changed. It
didn't affect me. But I think for her, it probably would have helped her out a little bit. She's the enlisted folk, and for my enlisted folk out there, you don't get paid enough, that's for sure, to deal with our shit. But I was like, hey, I even told her, she's like, really? Are you serious? I'm like, I am dead serious. If you fill this out and do the work, because I don't have the patience for it. I was racking my brains. I was getting so upset, and it's not worth the money.
It's quite possible all of your vouchers were filed and the money went into her bank account and you just don't know it.
I'm good. Whoever you are, and I won't name your name, if that happened, you're welcome and thank you. Or actually, thank you and you're welcome. There's a difference there. It's a slight difference. I appreciate you, and that's it. Yeah,
on the day that this podcast posts is my retirement day.
No shit.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Man,
the day 2.
And I will have a travel voucher that I will not be finishing because I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a. Are you a March 5th exactly 20, or is that just a?
It's 20 plus like 3 weeks.
Okay, because that's my enlistment date is March 5th. which is the date you're retiring.
Yep.
Oh,
Mine
wow.
was
That's
February 15th.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you guys really grew up together. Holy cow.
What year? What year?
What
did you
year?
get
I was just gonna say, Coops, what year was that?
So I enlisted in 2000.
Oh,
You must have been 2001, Tyler.
I was February 15th, 2001.
Wow.
Yep.
Silver Fox. What say you?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know the whole backstory, but Tyler and I grew up in the same small town. So we
Really?
both grew up in Hastings, Michigan.
Are you guys from
He
same
went-
high school?
So he went to Hastings High School. I went to down the road because I moved from Middleville High School, which is like 10 miles down the road. So he did go to school with my wife.
Oh, okay.
I think you were 2 years ahead of my wife, though. Tyler,
Did he
if I
bang your
remember
wife?
right.
98.
May have.
No.
You
No.
know.
I didn't even. I didn't know you or your wife in Hastings.
Did not. I knew some Allerdings. They worked at the wonderful AJ and Sons with me, which is also known as McDonald's of Hastings.
The McDonald's of Hastings. I love these little town stories.
Yeah. So, and that's where I met my wife, was McDonald's of Hastings. We've been together that long. So,
Wow,
but
that's cool.
but yeah, we grew up in the same small town and didn't really know of each other until we're both full timers down at the Battle Creek Air National Guard Base. Old Tyler was down there working the fuel cell, sniffing the fumes, and
Which explains a lot.
It does. It does explain a lot.
Wait, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Did you live under power lines as a kid? No, I worked in fuel tanks.
No, it was fuel. Yeah, fuel.
Yeah, so we got hired in the same board. We both basically called Travis. Oh man, that opens up a can of worms. Old TTP at the same time, and
Don't you ever say
came
his
down.
name again.
Oh man, and came down here, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. You know what? Here's the thing. I will say this. I'll give TTP the fact that he hired you two numbnuts because you guys are pretty shit hot. I'll give you that. He
Actually, looking at his
turn
whole
for the
hiring
worst.
class, the whole TTP Air Force. Looking back at it, there really wasn't a
Yeah.
bad one that he hired.
Wait. Yeah. Who said he hired anybody?
Here we go.
True statement.
Yeah.
True statement.
Coop.
Yeah, Coops. Get in there, brother.
Get him.
Just because the street soldiers are out there doing the work doesn't mean the mafia boss isn't back there pulling the strings.
100%.
I love it.
Yeah, he was definitely not in any hiring boards. So that is a true statement. I'm trying to remember if Coop was on my board. I don't remember whether you were on my board or not.
I was.
I remember Diaz. It had to be you, and I don't know if it was Adam Yuhan or not. BA was not. You were in the squadron.
Yeah, I was
talking mad shit.
Of
Like,
course.
oh man, who the hell is this guy? I'm fucked.
Oh yeah. And I was
Beard.
taught by the best, Tim Martin. I was taught by the best. So I think what was the
Captain,
first thing you say?
Captain Acosta at that
Captain
time.
at the time. What was the first thing you say? Hey, you got these new guys coming. Hey, I'm Captain Hansen. I'm trying to, get into the unit. Oh, really? Who the fuck are you? Captain Hansen. What'd you bring?
I think you were. This is how it rolled. I walked into the double wide, the trailers.
Yeah, the trailer.
In my blues with my buttons about bursting.
Right.
And
what happened when we stopped laughing?
I think he's talking to Zapata at the time. You remember Zapata? And I'm walking in there awkwardly, don't know anybody, just kind of chilling. And you look at me and said, "Who the fuck are you?" Just clear as day. I'm like, am I in the right place?
Sorry, sir. I don't know. I'm just here.
My best Brandon story in that regard was in the 63rd, the building we were at before we moved to NOAA, and some active duty captain was hanging out in the squadron because he had to talk to Bragdon or something. I don't know. Brandon's sitting there in like gym clothes at a computer, and this kid's like sitting at one of the tables just waiting, and Brandon's like, "Who the fuck are you?" or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so and so," and he was like being nonchalant about it. He's like, "Don't you know who I am?" That's what Brandon said. And the kid sat at attention. He sat at attention to Brandon in gym clothes.
Awesome.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Hey, you gotta have fun in the job, man. I mean, I don't know. You just gotta have fun. People take this stuff way too seriously.
You put BA in a room and with somebody else, and it is just pure entertainment. As long as you're not the one with the crosshairs on the target, it is pure entertainment.
Well, you're welcome, gentlemen.
But
I
at the
tried.
same time, you get BA by himself, and he is nothing but genuine. So
That
appreciate
or
that for BA.
or turn the crosshairs back on Brandon.
Oh yeah,
He
cool.
loves
That
it.
works.
He loves it when that happens. To be honest, like
I do.
Yep.
I do. Who was the first one to ever really do that? Was I think JoJo, which was fine because I had known him already, and he just fired back. I'm like, oh, well done. I like that. And you know what? And here's the thing. So with Tim Martin, who's one of the old originals, he did that to me in the squadron, and I had such a chip on my shoulder coming into the squadron. He goes, I walk in, same as you did, Josh. You know, hey guys, I'm kind of trying to find the bathroom. And he goes, and Tim Martin goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And I look back and I was like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he goes, "Nice, okay."
All right.
Just
You're
walks
hired.
away and hired. Yeah, I'm like, wow. I figured, oh man, hostile territory. I lost the job. All right. Where's the bathroom? But no, it's that brotherhood. And sisterhood. You know, we've had a lot of, you know, just different eclectic blend of people come through, and that's what it's really all about. Is the folks you want to be on the road with. You got to live and die with. Quite literally, you're deploying. You're in this environment. You got to be able to just let your hair down and relax around these people.
Oh, we absolutely hired some great people over the years.
You did. Your hiring class was really good. Minus Travis Posey.
Despite my interference, we did okay.
Now, here's the thing. TTP had a lot of great friends that I still adore like you two and some of the other guys that he was part of his class. Something happened to him. I don't know.
Hey.
You know, it's probably still in there somewhere, but
Travis, and I'll say this to the day, Travis has best intentions, worst delivery.
absolutely. That's actually probably the best way to put it. Best way to put it.
Yep.
Does anybody know?
And he knows
who hired
it.
him?
He just can't help himself. Who hired him?
Yeah.
First time or the
Cooper.
second time?
Well, either time. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I don't recall. There's a few people I can say for sure that I did not hire.
The only thing, the first time I know is Travis, because Travis, I don't know if you know this, Tom, but Travis was with Tyler and I at the Battle Creek Air National Guard.
Very true.
I was literally in the same basic training class, the flight, with Travis. Him and I went to basic training together. Okay. So we grew up together. We went to Western Michigan together. So we know Travis, Travis has been the same since we've known him.
So basically, he got you guys hired. So what you're saying?
Well, he got us the interview with Silver Fox, and we apparently just held up enough to get the blessing by the board.
We must have had low standards back then.
Very low standards and no fitness requirements.
Yeah, over the years, I was directly involved in hiring for a few years. And then when I went up to the wing, I kind of stepped away from it, but I still had my hand in it. I would still do interviews and I would still give recommendations.
Nice.
Or
my understanding,
non-recommendations.
Yeah.
I gave a couple of those too.
My understanding was Travis was he applied to the unsponsored board at AFRC when he was with us up at Battle Creek, just because he wanted I was set on getting an A10 slot in our unit, and he called me up one day and he said, "Hey, dude, so I did this deal, and now I'm tagged part of the Selfridge unit that's up and moving down to McDill. You know, they're relocating and they're going to stand up 135 unit in McDill." And I'm like, there's no way I'm moving to Florida. That's not even on the table. Not going to happen. So
with your gold hat.
Yep. So instead, I decided to, I finished my degree at Western and decided to put that to good use and take a full time maintenance job working on A10s at Battle Creek, because that's what you do with a 4-year degree. And did that for 2 years, and till I decided what am I doing? And I was lucky enough to get a regional job down in Florida, of all places, and that was that was about 2008. Right about the time the airlines were going belly up, and ended up getting furloughed. And that's when I called Travis. Hey, Travis, I'm down in Fort Lauderdale, but hey, I know you're part of the unit, and it was like September, October of 2008. And hey, you guys happen to be hiring for UPT slots or whatever? And he said, "Dude, can you get me your resume tomorrow? Today would be better." I'm like, maybe. So I spent all day putting a legit package together.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the pieces already done, but I gave it to him the next day, and all right, you gotta interview in a week. Like, what? It just happened to be the same time that Tyler, the same
exactly.
board, Tyler and I interviewed together with was there one more of us, Tyler? Or was it just you and there was one more of us?
Was Devlin there?
No,
Devlin.
maybe it was Devlin, but
I think you guys all got hired around the same time, or at least interviewed around the same time.
There was another kid too.
think
there was in my OTS class. I don't know what happened to
did
him.
he SEI? I think he was the guy that self-eliminated. No.
When we first got to Selfridge, we lost a lot of people when we came down. So we're scrambling to fill those spots, and we were able to fill some of them with guys, coming off active duty, and guys that wanted to come here from other places. But our OG at the time, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Our OG at the time really pushed to get some new UPT slots and to grow some people from within. So he got approved. I think we got approved for like 6 or 8 slots, UPT slots. So the good thing about TTP is he had his good qualities. He was good at racking and stacking and doing paperwork and digging in the regs and figuring out how to get things done. I mean, that was his talent. So we tapped into it whenever we could.
And you need guys
gotta
like
find
that.
people's talent. There was one particular guy in the squadron that almost nobody liked, but he was awesome with OPRs and awards and decks, and that's how he made his money. And I didn't want to hire him. He got hired anyway, and nobody liked flying with him, but he found a niche where he could be useful.
I'll tell you what, I like flying with him better than I like flying with his wife. I can tell you that.
You know what? That wasn't even who I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I bring up?
But
sorry. Me either. We'll edit that out.
Yeah.
No, you won't.
Well, the interesting thing is too, Brandon's class and Josh and mine's class, and you had Tim Martin and others and Tom to put the pressure on people to see how they react in uncomfortable situations. Yeah. And then, when we came in and after, we had Brandon and JoJo put people in uncomfortable situations. We don't have anybody do that now. And it was funny. I got a text message from one of our lieutenants last week or whatever.
The only thing funner than watching Brandon attack, or welcome somebody to the squadron, is watching Brandon and JoJo welcome somebody to the squadron.
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
Pure
you know,
gold.
the good thing about that is after that, an airline interview is super easy.
I'm telling you, we're
Right?
setting them up, man. We're setting them up for success. That's what they don't
Yeah.
understand.
Exactly.
I guarantee you, this individual is listening to this podcast. He texted me. He's like, "There's irony because we had that short about bullying,
Yeah.
right?" He's like, "It's kind of ironic that Brandon's talking about bullying, blah blah blah." He's like, "I've never met him." He's like, "I've just heard stories." And I said, "Well," I'm like, "Brandon doesn't really bully people. He challenges them."
Yeah, exactly. There's a difference.
And and he's like, "Sounds like the same thing to me." And I said, "Well, if you're a pussy, it's bullying." So, anyways, I'm like, "Listen," I'm like, during the interview process, you have hours to get to know somebody to find out if you want to work with them for the next 10, 15 years. Right?
Very well put. Very well put.
And the tactics that JoJo and Brandon used,
Just
they
direct.
found out in minutes what it normally takes squadrons months to figure out.
Oh yeah, very true.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
you actually should trademark it, patent it and sell it as a product.
Right? The service. We'll come to your squadron and hire the right people.
you're like the Emerald Coast of hazing.
That's great. So wait. This is a kid that I've never met that I don't even know, and he's saying
Yeah,
these things?
I couldn't put a face to who he's talking about.
Yeah, you can. He's currently deployed.
LT?
Yep.
And he
He's-
knows me, but I don't know him.
He knows of you. He doesn't know you.
He knows the
he's
folklore.
He's flying with your first deployed AC, Josh.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Noted.
And I will say, if you're deployed right now and you're watching this podcast, good on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're welcome for your freedom. Jeez, when I was deployed, we didn't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, even my first deployment, I had a morale phone for 15 minutes, like every week or something like that.
Exactly.
Hey,
Oh my
I'm so old, we
God.
barely had pencil and paper.
Wi-Fi. Yeah, you had a tablet and a freaking hammer and a freaking chisel. You old son of a bitch. We love you.
And let's give him a shout out too. Hey, to the fellas that are deployed right now and the ladies.
That's true. We got him out
Yeah.
there.
Thank you for serving. Thank you
Yeah,
for
man.
protecting.
Even from our unit. Yeah, we got some guys out there, huh? From our old unit. I
Yeah,
guess you
yeah.
should say.
For sure.
Thank you for your service, guys.
Yeah,
Even though
they're-
we're retired, hats off to you.
Fighting
Here's
the
some
good
drink.
fight that's still going on. And that's
Yeah, and, we
one of
seem
your
to
one of your
forget.
regulars is out there right now.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Rusty, we miss you, brother. Russ Healy, he's out there and he's a trooper, man.
Yeah.
Kicking and screaming he went, but he
Dude,
went.
I remember, like Tyler said, so Russ and I, my first co-pilot deployment was with Mr. Captain Russ Healy on active duty. He's part of the
wow.
91st.
That's right.
Up to Manassas. I stole him from Tyler because Tyler was supposed to deploy with him.
Yeah, and you
I
fucked
don't
up your
remember.
PT test, fuckface.
I didn't fuck it up. I didn't pass it or something.
And they wouldn't let you deploy over that?
I don't remember how it rolled out. Tyler probably, because he's scarred from it because of his AC he did have, so he probably remembers what exactly happened.
Oh, I remember the AC you had. That's right.
I got a whole story about PT tests and deploying and sanctuary and everything else.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what are they
But
gonna
yeah,
do?
so so Russ,
yeah, I'm not gonna take a PT test. It's fine. But you have
Russ
to.
back
Yeah,
then
you're not
told me that he was never deploying again, and it's funny to see years later how things 2 more deployments later with the squadron, he's why he went on this deployment still baffles me. I'm
He said he had
confused.
to. He said he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. Oh, he had a choice. I don't think he was aware of the choice, Josh.
I don't know that he was aware of the choice.
Oh my
Well, it depends.
gosh.
He
Thought you
so
were,
ul-
thought you were a bro,
ultimately-
Josh. Why didn't you bring it up to him?
I did. Ultimately, he was going to have to deploy one more time in his tenure, so he decided to get it out of the way early.
All right.
Earlier than later.
Man,
He's
yeah,
loving it out
yeah.
there. Oh, yeah. He sent a. I do, so I'm chief of training, right? So I go out and all the deployed ACs are with brand new co-pilots, basically. Most of them are first time deployment co-pilots. So I'm
Ooh.
getting a ride report from him basically, and yeah, he sends me an email and comical Russ email, basically, yeah, it says this place couldn't imagine it ever getting any worse, but it did.
Really?
You could do. It's bad. I mean, conditions are better, I guess, as far as living conditions, but the daily grind is just worse. So
Hey,
don't ever
I
wanna go
heard
back.
I heard a rumor about one of our booms and earrings.
Wasn't an earring as much as it was a nose ring.
What?
Oh, it was a nose ring? I thought it was an earring.
Maybe there was another incident with an earring.
What was
but
the incident?
the one that so you're wearing a face covering, scarf, whatever you want to wear over there. They don't really care, I guess, but
For COVID?
for COVID, right? So
Oh
the whole
my
base is
God.
wearing that shit.
Dude, they put you on lockdown 2 weeks before you deploy. Now, what's it called when they do that, Josh?
ROM. It's a restricted movement, restriction of movement. ROM. Gotta love
How do
acronyms.
they do that? How do you police that?
You don't like. Okay, they get like 14 days extra orders, and they're supposed to not leave they have very strict guidelines. If you have to leave your house, you can only go somewhere for minutes or whatever. It's policed, self-policed. So of course everybody's probably out freaking golfing or surfing or skiing or whatever, right? So it's kind of a joke, but yeah, the intent is then you get over there and then you don't have to isolate when you get over there.
What about the
Otherwise, you have
TCNs?
So somebody had a nose ring.
Yeah, so happened to be on TTP's crew, so TTP got to handle that. But yeah, he had it covered.
I heard it was Matt Carpenter's crew.
So maybe we're talking about two different situations.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
Content.
So what happened? Let's hear the TTP story first.
Well, so we got up channel to the squadron, and I stayed as far away from that one as I can. So hiding.
What got up channel? The nose ring? Did the nose ring fall into the collective to where she couldn't you move the boom, or he? I don't know who was.
It wasn't a she. So
it wasn't a she.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own, right?
That's where we're at.
It's a, but yeah, so you'd figures, as non-military as a good majority of us are, there are things that are just like,
not as bad as a big mustache or anything.
Yeah.
Oh man,
mustache,
dude, that's worth a.
Shout out to BMAC.
Oh, BMAC. Talking about getting wrapped up into something, and that whole situation that was
for those that don't know, we had a good leadership again, what was his name, Amadeo, that accused somebody of having a mustache that never had a mustache, and actually wrote an LOR, which is a letter of reprimand for this individual who can't even grow facial hair. That's how bad this is. He had zero and this dude's so straight laced. He's a great dude, great guy. We've had him on the show before. He's the one that lost an eye.
If I'm gonna get an LOR, at least I want it to be for something I did.
Exactly, right? Hello.
Dude, he was standing in front of Amadeo's desk. just like, sir,
Yeah.
I didn't have a mustache.
Yeah.
Like, I can show you pictures from the days prior. It didn't have and I mean, Amadeo was convinced
Yeah.
that
he had a
he
mustache.
had a mustache, and oh my,
There's a picture of him getting off the plane with the two dudes that had mustaches, the other crew
with
members,
nothing.
and
Clean.
he had nothing. It was amazing. And this dude still gave it to him. Nope. Yeah, you did. Still gave him the LOR. That's leadership at its finest.
See, if that was me, I would have refused to sign it, and I would have demanded an article or a court martial.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's not that kind of a kid. You know, he signed it, but then it got rescinded. It didn't go any further.
And ultimately, you know, he got his. So
He
the
did. The wing commander.
oh yeah, and it was
he
a
got it.
direct result of. I won't get into details, but say, you know, people knew people in high places
Yeah.
from past lives, and
And he was one of them. Yeah. Yeah,
The
you're right.
pro-
Enough said.
The problem
And
with the problem with the system, though, is they'll move him away in a hole somewhere. In 3 or 4
did.
years, he'll resurface somewhere.
and
exactly
we're
what
at
happened.
that 3 or 4 year point. So
That's
it is
exactly
going to
what
be
happened.
very interesting to see where we hear his name, because there's some holes in AFRC that
If you
they
look
can
around
fill.
right now, you'll see guys that were fired and put in a dead end job somewhere and resurface later on because there's nobody else. There's no leaders left. Everybody's
Yeah.
gone.
Everybody leaves, you know, guys that should be leaders, you know, hashtag Silver Fox, aren't there anymore. And they leave voids. See, here's the thing. I was never destined for leadership, so I know my role. I'm below middle management.
You were never destined for military leadership.
No, okay. That's fair enough.
I do have to say that the full birds that we have in our chain right now are great.
Really? Good for you.
Josh might have a different opinion. I don't think he does. One of which is even active duty. And I think he's surpassed expectations dramatically from my experience.
Our current OG, who's active duty, is not a reservist, but how quick he adopted the reserve mentality and how fair he is and how patient he is, considering he's active duty, is hands down impressive.
Good.
Yeah, we and he extended a year, and he's with us a little bit longer, but it was a very pleasant surprise after a very worrisome 3-4 months after we found out we were getting an active duty OG. So
wow.
but yeah, dude's gonna retire, and I would, you know, come to my company, or I should say Coop and I's company, that he would be an amazing guy. So get him hired somewhere.
Nice. Very cool.
You guys still have an active duty squadron commander?
No.
Yep.
So our squadron commander.
yeah, sort of. He's actually worse. He's a hybrid. What a clown. He's a wannabe active duty. It's never
I will give you one tidbit you can edit out, and just based on especially the last year or two that I was in fighting the system, and because I was just fed up. The best thing you can do for yourself when you're trapped in the system and you're fighting it is find out what the rules are and know the rules. If you know the rules cold and the other people don't, you can have the biggest set of balls, and you can get away with a lot of stuff. Or I wouldn't say get away with a lot of stuff. If you know the rules, you know what you can do and what you can't legally.
Hashtag Silver Fox knowledge.
There you
Wisdom of the Silver Fox.
He's been dropping lots of knowledge between his knowledge and his design skills.
Oh, yeah. Get it. Dude, we miss you, man. Like, you were like, one of the originals.
The thing is, like, I think the environment got so abrasive, my last couple of years that, the last year I was in, I was just fed up and I just wanted out. I
You
was,
know, we really could have used you during the little Frankie era. Like all the trio of you, Tim and Gary, that would have been amazing. I would
well,
have
the thing
loved to
is,
see
we had great people and we had so much potential when we
that.
first moved down to Tampa. And I thought I thought it was going to really go places.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We had a
and we
good
just
time.
got we got so many fingers in the pie. I think
Yeah.
it made it very miserable. And by the end, I just wanted out. And
Yeah, I heard
I,
that,
I
brother.
fought my own silent
Yeah.
war, and figured out my way of doing a silent protest and getting back at the system.
Yeah.
I wonder, you, me, Brandon, I feel like we all have the same animosity in our waning years in the Air Force.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's a byproduct of the system wearing us down or if the system's just getting worse. And it's probably a combination thereof.
Yeah.
The senior officers, when you were a young co-pilot, Tom, were probably maybe feeling the same way that you felt on your way out. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm guessing that's probably true. I don't know.
Yeah, if I had to give you, my overall perspective, I started on active duty. I started off as a F-111 crew chief, and then I went through OTS and flight school. I did a lot of different things, and I really enjoyed it when I first got in and started doing it. But over time, when I was on active duty, it just got to be, I don't know, I guess the wheels of the machine start grinding you down. But I always enjoyed the flying. I always enjoyed the people. And then when I left active duty and I went to the reserves, initially my perception is this is awesome because you're taking the best part of the Air Force, the flying and the camaraderie, and doing the mission, and you're leaving all the BS behind. And and you had people that did your travel vouchers for you or help you with them. You had people that would help you do things so you didn't have to do everything yourself. And then over the years, it kind of turned into, my perception was it turned into part-time active duty, which turned into more than part-time active duty. And I still miss the people. I still miss the flying. And I go out and I get my fix in my other job, but I don't miss all of the BS, the CBTs and the QUEEP paperwork that went along with the job. So
Even
It's
back when
getting
I
worse.
started, I just remember, Tyler and I grew up in the same guard unit. Travel voucher, like you brought your receipts to the finance in person, and literally they filled out your travel voucher for you in front of you.
Yeah.
And that was it. You were done.
Or,
With
or if you filled it out yourself, they would look at it and go, "Oh, let me fix this for you,"
Yeah.
Or hey, you need to change this to this, and then it became they shove it across the desk at you and go, "It's not right. Figure it out," and then pretty soon you couldn't even talk to a person. You're doing everything online.
Yeah.
And there's some things to be said for automation and technology, but they put more and more of the burden on the individual, and you're doing everybody else's job, but except for yours of going out flying airplanes. And when I first got to the reserves, that's what the reserves was about. It was about hanging out on drill weekends, catching up with everybody, and going out flying airplanes, and that's pretty much what we did.
Gone are those days, brother. Gone are those days. It's a completely different regime. But still doing good works out there. I mean, hats off again to those folks that are deployed and still fighting the fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight
But-
the fight from my retirement.
Yeah, for all those guys that are still in, what you have to do is you gotta savor the good parts, enjoy the
And take
deployments, enjoy the
and take
people.
care of yourself. Yeah, enjoy
Yeah.
these things, and then take care of yourself. Do the GI Bill. Get your stuff in order. If you got a family, make sure they get in your GI Bill. And I think there's so many guys that I still talk to, like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. What?
Yeah.
How do you not know? And that's a failure on us, not once when we are still active duty or still in, whether
There,
it be reserve guard or active duty, is relaying those messages,
yeah.
man.
And there are a lot of benefits still that you can take advantage of. So, they're your benefits. Take advantage of them as much as you can. Because
There's a stigma there
when
too, for some reason.
when the military's done with you, they'll chew you up, spit you out, and they'll hire another guy to take your place.
Yeah.
And they'll forget you were there.
Yeah.
So
Keep on rolling.
yeah, don't put your whole life into this is your existence. Have hobbies, have a family, have other
Well, a
things.
perfect example of that is, so I just got a word last week that two dudes that I definitely respect, that when we were butter bar lieutenants, we were roommates together back in the day. The other I respect as well. So two guys that I respect highly were up for '06. They were going to make full board colonel, and they didn't get DPs. They didn't get definitely promote. And one is just, I heard that he didn't get it. I'm like, there's no way. That must be a typo. There's no way that you didn't get a DP. This guy's so squeaky clean, and beyond squeaky clean, he's the nicest dude you will ever fly with, you will ever meet. The guy's just, he's an amazing guy, and he doesn't get it for some reason because he didn't. There was a box that wasn't checked. I believe it was he never held a command before, so he can't make '06. There's these boxes that need, don't get me wrong, I know there's boxes that need to be checked, okay, but when there needs to be, and I guess in this day and age, there can't be any subjectivity. You can't be like, well, no, yeah, I know these we got to check these boxes, but oh, by the way, this person is also great because of these other bodies of work that he's done. They can't do that. It's got to be these boxes that need to be checked. So here goes two dudes that definitely would make great leaders, hands down. I already know they would. I'd follow them, through the fire, and they won't make it. They won't make '06. And you know what? And you know what they're gonna do? Still do the work. Oh yeah, I didn't make '06, but
Oh.
I'm gonna stick around.
And
What?
like our discussion previously, they're not promoting leaders anymore.
No. So, and these guys, think about this for a second. I've mentioned it on the show. We're at an apex right now at this age, and we're only a couple years younger than you, Silver Fox. So don't get crazy on me. But we're between the ages of 35 and 45, where everything really kind of comes together. You're still in great shape. You still you have a great network by now. You're making some discretionary scratch. You got a lot of stuff going on for yourself, and you give it to the Air Force in hopes. It's a gamble. It's not a guarantee. It's a hope and a gamble that you're going to get taken care of, and then you don't. Now what? Now what? You could have spent that 10 years on your own business, or that 10 years honing some other skill on the outside, especially in your guard and reserve. Um, I'm not saying, I'm not an advocate. I'm not saying that you shouldn't give your all to what the task that you're doing. I'm not saying that, but just be cognizant that there's other opportunities that also need your attention, and don't neglect those, because you just never know. There may
Right.
be some glitch in the matrix where they can't give you the '06 because they are only taking 3 and you're number 4. Now what? I don't know. And you're like, just like you said, Coops, when they're done with you, they're done with you. And it's
Yeah.
no fault of their own. They're just done with you. Right? That's the system. That's the machine. I
Yeah.
don't know. Thanks for
And
coming out.
nowadays, it's not like it used to be. You get passed over and you don't have a DP, you can't get promoted anymore.
That's
I
it.
think I
It's
was
a
like the
wrap.
last one that ever did that.
You can't even earn. Yeah, you were actually. You can't even, like, there's like almost no second chances.
Yeah.
If that's kind of the thing. And I've seen that too. You have guys that have when they were butter bar lieutenants, they're, you know, just young and stupid, make a mistake, and it follows them all the way to where they can't make it past '04 major. What? That followed you 20 years? Really? You haven't evolved? They won't let you. So take care of yourself out there.
Luckily for
And
me,
that's
early
just
in
my
my
opinion.
career,
You guys
those
may have
records
you
don't
might
exist
have a different
anymore.
opinion. What's that?
I said, luckily for me, early in my career, most of those records don't exist anymore.
Because they're on stone tablets.
That's right.
I have to say this, but you're saying that BA, and the only thing that came to mind is you whack off in front of a maid once and they kick you out of the Air Force.
And that's it.
Ba-dum-bum.
Hashtag ED, baby. Hashtag Echo Delta. If you're out there and you know who you are.
I miss
I miss those guys.
Josh was
gentlemen,
there. Josh was there for that one.
Yeah, you were there.
He got to talk to OSI about it.
Oh my god.
Sounds like I missed
one of a handful of
that one.
conversations with OSI through the years.
Yeah, they've been a few.
I've learned how to interact with them.
Yeah, you
So-
got to know how to play that
Yeah,
game.
don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say plead the fifth. You do that?
My last interaction with them was pretty we'll get into it obviously, but it was pretty straightforward. Let's just say that.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Oh,
So, did you snitch? That's all I need to know. No?
Oh man, it was a very very quick conversation.
Oh, okay. But did you snitch?
That's why it was so quick.
Because he did.
Just laid it all out there,
Oh man, snitches and stitches, brother.
dude.
Let's
It was
find out. We'll go
sounds
offline.
like
We'll find
sounds
out.
like life got interesting after I left.
Oh, yeah.
I can say
oh, it was.
I went
Yeah,
through
that's
my
right,
entire
yeah.
career without ever talking to the OSI.
Oh no, it got interesting.
The
Definitely,
the, o-
you
the
gotta
only interviews I ever did was when I don't know, like 45 of us all filed IG complaints at the same time.
know. Oh yeah, that's right.
Was that in Tampa? That was in Tampa, yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was great.
but they didn't find it. It's kind of like the last election. No, they couldn't find anything wrong. But 45
Yeah,
of us. No,
there
I
we
think
go.
it was more like something like 25 IG complaints were filed
Oh, it was
against
nuts.
one individual,
Yeah, and they're like, no, he's fine.
but they couldn't find any smoking gun to bring
Weird,
forth any action.
weird. But
Systems
what are you
broke.
gonna do?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go offline and talk about this IG complaint or this this investigation. So Furlough Friday 34 in the books, gentlemen. We're about 2 hours in, and we appreciate your time. Thank you, Joshy, for coming on. We got to have you back. We're promised we won't jeopardize your career next time. And Silver Fox, again, brother.
Always a pleasure,
Anytime.
guys.
Anytime. We'll talk soon. All right,
All right.
guys. And we are out.